Hello and welcome to English 2. I'm your online teacher, Miss Abear. The last time that we met, we listened to the Universal Declaration for Human Rights. And this is an Engage New York unit from a larger module in which we will be exploring the idea of human rights. This particular module kind of explores this idea of how authors present details to develop and refine their claims and their ideas. Today we're going to be looking at Eleanor Roosevelt's speech, and you were to do some homework last night looking at who Eleanor Roosevelt was and kind of why she given this speech to the United Nations. Before we get into our agenda though, I want to go over our end of the unit task because you should always have this in mind as we go through these texts. Based on your reading of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Eleanor Roosevelt's on the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and Malala's address to the United Nations Youth Assembly, as well as your notes, annotations, and various tracking tools, write a well-developed multi-paragraph response to the prompt. Delineate the argument of each of these unit texts and analyze how the authors develop a common central claim. And you see I've used this picture on your board of someone with their computer out and notes everywhere. That is how I and so many of the students that I've worked with in the past kind of put all of this information together and organize. We just spread out, sit on the floor and put it all together, and that is what works best for me. But I hope that you find a way that works for you. And one of those things is this binder that we have all been working on as we've worked through this module. So let's look at our agenda. We are going to be accountable for our homework. We will do a masterful reading. We'll do some additional reading and discussion, and we'll do a quick write and close with a little homework. And you can see on your screen that we will be working with Eleanor Roosevelt's speech today. We're going to listen to the entire speech, but then we're going to focus in on paragraphs 1 through 2 today. So I want you now to turn and talk, and I want you to discuss the central and supporting claims, evidence, and reasoning you identified on your homework delineation tool for the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Great job. Now, I do want to make sure that you have at least an idea of what the suggested central claim was from the curriculum writers themselves. So they say that the central claim is all people have inherent dignity, inalienable rights, and fundamental freedoms. So that is the central claim that the writers of the curriculum came up with. And so I want to make sure that you either make some adjustments to what you have or that you have something similar to that. Now you also know that we had some additional homework beyond that delineation tool, and you were to do some research on Eleanor Roosevelt. So I want you to turn and talk and share your responses to the writing prompt that you see on your screen. Great job. Now I would like for a volunteer to come up and to share the masterful answers, but also to kind of lead a discussion with the rest of the class on the things that you guys found and that you wrote about. So I'm going to put mine on the screen, and then I want that person to lead the discussion for the entire class. Fantastic job. I'm loving the volunteers that are leading these discussions. You guys are doing a great job. Now it's time to get your text out. And the text that I found as the best representation to allow enough room for you to make some good annotations is from AmericanRhetoric.com. And this is linked in the YouTube description. So you will have all of these resources at your hands. But I want you to hear Eleanor Roosevelt read her speech to the United Nations. You guys were doing some fantastic annotations as you were listening, and I'm really thankful for that. Now I would like for you to work with a partner, and I want you to reread paragraph 1 and answer the questions on your screen. I am so proud of you. You guys did a great job. Now I would like, I think one person can do this. These answers are fairly short and easy to find. It's one paragraph, right? How much can that be? So I have all of the masterful responses on the board, and I would like a volunteer to lead that discussion. Fantastic job. I know some of y'all broke that up. Some of the classes broke it up, and that's okay. That's a lot of discussion to lead. And if one person did it, great. If multiple people did it, that's okay too. Sometimes we get tired of listening to the same person. So now I hope your teacher has printed some copies of the argument delineation tool for you to work through Eleanor Roosevelt's claims up to this point. So really just paragraph 1, what is her claim and how is she developing it? So I would like for you to work with a partner or a small group. Again, that's at the discretion of the teacher that's in your classroom. And I want you to delineate Roosevelt's claim for paragraph 1. Great job. Now I want you to, with a different partner, to reread paragraph 2 and answer the questions on your screen. Not as many questions, so I think that one person can lead the discussion for all of those questions, and I'm going to put those on your board now and have someone lead that discussion with your class. Great job. I want to remind you for a second. Some of you I've noticed when you get with your partner, you're talking about things that aren't necessarily on task. And you're waiting until you see the masterful responses before you're jotting down those answers. And I don't think that that's going to benefit you as well as if you answer those questions together and then revise your answers based on the masterful responses. I think that's going to help you out the most. So make sure that you are grappling with this text, that you are thinking through these things on your own or with a partner, and you're not just relying on the masterful responses, because that's not going to help you at the end of the day. So make sure that you have your own ideas and answers, and then you revise those based on that masterful response. So let's move into our quick write for today. We moved rather quickly. So I want you to delineate Roosevelt's argument in paragraphs 1 through 2 and assess whether her reasoning is valid. Great job. Now, let's move into our homework. You are going to reread paragraphs 3 through 9, and I want you to use your previous work with the Universal Declaration for Human Rights text to briefly paraphrase each article that Roosevelt mentions. So I know that sounds like a lot, so you need to have both texts out and ready to go so that you can make those comparisons and you can really analyze what it is that Roosevelt is saying and how she says it. Remember, it's important, the language that she used, those specific word choices. So keep that in mind as you work through paragraphs 3 through 9. Until next time, happy learning.